and welcome back to the art room. It is me, Mrs. Readwright. We're doing colors all week long and looking at books that are all about colors in the world. On Monday we learned about sunflowers and the colors of all in our world. On Tuesday we learned about Helen Frankenthaler, who poured paint onto paper and let it soak and stain. Yesterday we learned about Mary Blair, who designed the Small World ride at Disneyland. And today we're learning about a French artist named Anne Herbaught. And I think her book is my favorite book, children's book I have ever bought. I have looked it over so many times because it has so many details. And she wrote it in French, and it's been translated into many, many languages. And we're going to learn more about her and do a project of printmaking, well, from one of the pictures that I loved in the book. But let's do our good morning song where we sing that the duck says quack. Each of the animals says how they say good morning, and I always say good morning to you. So let's begin. Oh, the duck says quack, and the cow says moo, and the old red rooster says cock-a-doodle-doo. The sheep says baa, and the cat says mew, and I say good morning when I see you. All righty, here is the page I picked in the book we're reading today that I liked so much. There is a blind child who is asking, what color is the wind? Because if you are blind and have never seen the world, you don't know if the wind has a color. You wouldn't know if smells have a color. You wouldn't know what anything looked like. So you just have to imagine in your mind. Well, in this picture that Anne Herbaught painted, she made a white dog that is telling the blind child what the wind, the color of the wind is. Every single creature that the little boy, they actually call him the little giant, the little boy asks everyone, what color is the wind? Everyone has a different answer. Now, when I made my art to practice before bringing it here, look, I tried to make it look like the white dog kind of. My tail went a little different, my legs are a little different, my ears are a little different. But we're going to talk about the shapes. For instance, when I say, if you want to draw a dog, I'll draw one because I'm going to make another one. I did it in purple paint last time. I brought red paint, which is my favorite color today. So the head is like an oval. The ears are triangles off of that. The body is an oval. Two legs are just down from the front, and on the back legs, it goes down and out and down. So this goes down and out, this goes down and out. And then you can put the tail either out back like she did, or you can have yours up like a wagging dog. Now this has been painted so many times, you can see all the times I painted with it, because I tried it a bunch of times, and I'll show you some of the ones I printed. I printed this one and put some green grass under his feet. I put his black nose and his smile in his eye. This one, I put a red collar on him and some green grass below. This one is just plain because I wanted you to see. Now, I made this so that I could make some wrapping paper, but I ended up cutting around these, and I could put these as, I can tie them onto gifts and say, put someone's name on the body of the dog and say, to Claudia from so-and-so, and I can put that on there. I can make gift tags. But today I'm going to cover a whole piece of paper with many, many of these dogs. Now this is a messy project. And I have a lot of newspaper. I have some extra paper. So this is definitely one you're going to want to do at your kitchen table, covered with newspaper, or out on your patio, or out on the sidewalk, because it is a lot of paint. And I know my hands are going to get colored. I still have paint from the other day when we used the blue food coloring. It does not come out. So you have to be careful about where you're doing your art, okay? Let me tell you a little more about Anne. She was born in 1976, and she was in Belgium That's where she went to school. And she does something original in each of her books. And she did these books, and she's written and illustrated over 20 children's books, and she's illustrated just 5 and published 5 comic books for older people. And she says, I am the words and the images at the same time. She said, what I like to do is work between words and pictures. Now, I'm going to show you the book. The reason I like it so much is most books you just turn the page and turn the page. This one, you feel the page because it was made so that blind children could feel the things that are in the story. So this is the story of What Color is the Wind by Anne Herbaught. Now, you'll notice they never say the boy is blind, but he has his eyes closed the entire time. And look how rich the colors are. It's as if she put color on here and then just did all of her strokes. And here you can see there are little holes punched through so that if someone who is blind can feel that, it's like Braille. And Braille is the alphabet that was made by Louis Braille that the blind people can feel and read. So it's punched. But let's take a look at this story. It says, we can't see the wind, we hear what it brings. We can't hear the wind, we see what it brings. Oh, and look, I bought it. It's withdrawn from a library because it's out of print now, and I tried so hard to get a bunch of different copies so I could give them as gifts because I loved it so much. And you'll see, I'll hold it a little to the side, but there are cutouts. You can see she cut out things, and there's lots of texture. I can feel the wallpaper. You can feel the stripes on it. So here's the story. He says, what color is the wind? Asks the little giant. So when they say little giant, I always think there's got to be a big one coming if that's little. And look how that cutout shows just the chair inside the house. The little giant sets out early to search for the wind and its color. He meets an old dog and asks, what color is the wind? It has a color, said the dog. It's pink, flowery, pale white. And what is the dog smelling? Pink, flowery, and pale white around it. He's telling the boy what the wind smells like. And look, you can see when I start to turn the page, look at how it shines. They use some shiny paper, some bumpy paper. Oh, I have to feel this. I can feel the fur on this wolf, and you can see the shine of the forest. Listen to what he said. The wolf disagrees with the dog and says, no, says the wolf, the wind is the dark smell of the forest. So now we know that one thinks one thing, another thinks another. The little giant bumps into an elephant and he asks, what color is the wind? It's round, cold, gray, and smooth, like a pebble. And I can feel this, and it feels like elephant skin. And what part of the elephant is that? It's its tusk, and it's shiny. No, sighs the mountain. It's blue. So he thinks it's like a pebble. The elephant thinks that mountain is like a pebble. Let's see what this feels like. Oh, so the white ones are shiny houses. The little giant passes through town. What color is the wind? The color of curtains, laundry, clothes. So you can see she took a piece of a curtain and added it to the paper. And these are fabrics, and you can feel those. But the window disagreed. It is the color of time. And it's because the window sees out into the world and time passes as it's just sitting there. Oh, all bumps. It's all raindrops. So the little giant asks the rain, "What color is the wind?" The rain knows nothing. But the bees are buzzing. The wind is the color of sunshine. The bees are rough. A stream runs by. "What color is the wind?" "That of the sky reflected in water," the stream answered. And here's where water hits this and it makes circles out, out, out. And what's in there? Lots of fish. And I can feel the fish and the circles of water. Water, 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 water. You can feel the grasses on this side. The little giant rested at the foot of a tree. "What color is the wind?" he sighs. "A sugary color," murmurs the apple tree. And this feels like the trunk of the tree. And the tree is speaking because it knows there's sugar inside its veins. "No, no," the roots tumble. "It's the color of sap and pomegranates." And here are the pomegranates on this tree. All the leaves, I can feel them. The little giant takes an apple and bites into it. "What color is the wind?" "Red," said the apple. Now look, this is a hole. And look when it goes over here, what it will do. It makes the inside of the apple. Then it's gone. The little giant asked a bird, "What color?" But by that time the bird had already flown away, and there's a little feather up here. The little giant comes upon someone he senses is enormous, which is bigger than big. "What color is the wind?" And there are buttons on the coat of the person. Oh no, those are on the boots of this person. Who would be enormous that he would be going to ask? And the enormous giant, with a slow gesture, says, "The color of the wind? It's everything at once. It's this whole book." He then takes the book and thumbs it against the edge. And when he did it, watch what happens. He does this to it, to the boy, and the wind comes off of the book. Have you ever done that to yourself? Fan yourself with a book? So he takes the book and he thumbs it against the edge and he let the pages fly. And the little giant felt the wind and its gentleness. And that is the end of our book called "What Color is the Wind" by Herbaught. Now we're going to start our project. So if you have your little piece of cardboard, mine is a piece of cardboard that I got from a box of crackers. I cut it open and opened up the cardboard so that it's just like this. And I'm going to use the back side. I tried to use my soda can box because I have bubbly water, but it had the impression of the cans sitting in there, and I don't want any of that to show because any mark on your cardboard will show on your print. So I'm going to just cut one panel out of this box and use it. So if you want to get your box ready, and if it's going too fast, boys and girls, stop the video and you can come back to it. I like this, and I could use this painting as my inspiration, but I'm just going to use the one I already did. And I'm going to walk you through drawing it if you would like. So when you draw it, you're going to cut it out so you won't see the ink. But I wanted to just use a pencil because I don't want this ink to bleed on my printing. But I don't think it will. I hope it won't. So I'm first going to draw over at the edge maybe I'll do it in pencil, and then that way you guys, when I draw it, you will know what I'm saying, and I can just do it upside down. I'm doing my two ovals, my two legs in front. I'm doing the legs and the back. I'm doing this quickly so that I can show you how I did it. And I can do it quickly. I'm going to make his tail going back like hers did. Okay, so let's begin. First draw an oval for the head. And if you want it to be more pointy, you can. I think that's what my dog looks better as, a pointed one with his nose like that. On the top, make 2 triangle ears. You'll take down here, make its oval body just connected to the head. I make one leg with its foot up front, the next leg with its foot up front. I try and make them about the same size. It's not a realistic dog because you don't see any dogs that have feet like this, but it's how I'm making this. And his back leg kind of goes out, has like a heel, and then here's his tail. It's just a curved line and a curved line. So now I cut it out. And once I cut it out, I think I'll just use this one to save time so that you can see, or if I think we have time. If not, I will hurry and do the printing. Because I want you to see, you have to be careful when you're printing, because a little bit of paint on your newspaper that you're getting the paint loaded onto your shape, if it gets on the paper and you go to print, it'll print all your mistakes on the paper. And I have a bunch of them on the wrapping paper I made at home to practice. But I didn't mind it because it kind of looks handmade. And I'm going to use that same print to print it on fabric. I'm going to make a dress out of it. And I'm going to say I did it for my PBS show. And people will be glad because they get excited about our PBS show. So I'm just cutting around all the pieces. If I cut off the ink, it doesn't really matter, but I'm cutting carefully. I'm speeding, boys and girls, so that you can see me print. But you take your time and just stop the video, take your time, and then come back on. So when I do this, I get all of my dog or wolf or whatever animal, my 4-legged animal that I'm doing, and I'm going to get ready to print it on some paper. And I'm using red today. You can paint whatever color you like. Now remember, if you don't have paints, you can just do this with cut paper, or you can just draw it. But I'll show you. Let me get all of these scraps off of here. And I'll show you how I do my paint. I use an old pie pan. I have some extra paper here and newspaper so that I don't. Here's my paper I'm going to be using. I'm going to set it next to me on the chair so I don't get any paint on this chair. Get in there, you. I have a big piece of paper because I want to make a lot of dogs on mine. So I put it on my newspaper so that I can turn the pages and you be able to use a bunch of this. Maybe I'll cut this in half so that I can just turn the page as I need fresh paper. All right, so here is my dog and here is my paint. Now these foam brushes I get at that store where everything's $1, and there's like 10 brushes in there for $1. So I'm getting some paint on the end and I'm going to paint over my whole dog. You see what I mean about it's kind of messy? You don't want a lot of paint, but you want to have all parts painted. And you don't want a big glob on there, but my fingerprint is making a print. But now I move this paper out of the way to do my printing, and I'll bend this down. Ooh, let's read right. I like it better. You can put the dog and place it on the paper, but I like it better when I move the dog, put it on a clean sheet, set the paper on top, and rub my hand over the whole way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lift and reveal. And there it is. Now I want it to go a different way this time, I think, but you see how it made marks on my paper? If I go to print again, it will get all over it. So I'm going to turn this paper to a clean part. Maybe I'll just flip it over. I'll put my paper down, pick up this paper. Remember what I said to you, if you have paper, it will make a mess of it, so you have to just turn the page to a new page. I might even throw this away over here. Put my dog back down on here, paint his body again. I will pick him up, put him on this fresh paper. Watch my fingers. I have my sponge here so that I can wipe my fingers off. Don't get any paint on that paper. I'll pick it up. Maybe I'll have him face this direction. One walking this way, one walking that way, and I rub-a-dub-dub it and reveal. And there it is. Oh, and you can see I got a little paint right there and there, but that's okay. It could be something he's eating, maybe a pomegranate. I think I'll make him go a different direction. So this print making, you can see I could let this dry and I can make a bunch of different ones. So I'm going to flip this paper over and get a new spot when I go to print, but I'm going to use this paper as my painting spot. Put my little dog down, paint over him. The reason it prints is because it's just a little higher than the paper with this piece of cardboard, so it prints on that. I put it on my clean piece of paper, wipe my fingers off so that I don't have paint when I pick up my other paper. I think I'll put him walking that direction upside down and move my paint over so I can rub-a-dub-dub. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lift it, reveal it. Do you see I keep doing more and more of them? So I can use my black pen that I used to do my drawing with to put on his nose and put on any of his features that I want to add. Even if it's still a little wet, I can. Let me move these up and out of the way for a second so I can show you. And if you like to make it into tags like I did, do that. But you just use your permanent pen, put the nose on, put the smile on, put the eye on. Let me show you it. I put the nose on. I put the eye on. I put his smile on. I could even put some of his foot marks, his little toe marks. And if you want to draw background for him, use your crayons, or you can use your watercolor pencils, any of the tools that you have to make more detail, because it kind of makes it even more interesting. And I like that some paint didn't apply there. I like when each one isn't solid, but you can decide if you want it super solid, you have to really iron it well for it to show up perfectly each time. So I think this looks terrific, but I think I want to add some, I'm going to tip my chair back, I think, and bring my colored pencils here. Yep, I'm so glad the camera's not on me, boys and girls, because I'm doing some acrobatics. Oh, there go the glue sticks. Here they are. So you can see if I want to add my background, then I can do this and add the grass to this one. Maybe I'll put snow for another. It can be a dog that's in many seasons. Let me tell you about tomorrow. Tomorrow we are celebrating Eric Carle. Now you might remember him from the Very Hungry Caterpillar. And we're going to do one about a click beetle. So if you can bring the same kind of cardboard you brought today or index cards, I'm gluing 2 index cards together. And you'll need glue, your scissors, and if you have any tissue paper, I'm going to use that. I'm going to make a click beetle. It's going to be in the story, you'll see. Anyway, I hope that your prints of your dogs turned out just like you liked it. And I am happy that you joined me today, so let's sing. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to all my friends. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to all my friends. Oh, it's time to say goodbye. Give a smile and wink your eye. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to all my friends. One thing I thought of as I was singing, my click beetle has a clothespin on the back. You know, the kind that you pinch and you put your clothes on. That's what makes the click beetle jump. Because in the story, the click beetle jumps up and he lands on his back. So you can play a game with it and you can guess, do I think when I push down on my click beetle, is it going to land on its top or will it land on its back? I painted his back and did some texture rubbings. So just bring all of your coloring tools and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, boys and girls.